we're starting with this topic, ascending tracts of spinal cord. So, remember last time, previously we have done with the descending tracts of the spinal cord. I hope you remember the descending tracts, right? There were 6 descending tracts. If you remember them, then we'll move with the ascending tracts. Now look here. Ascending tracts, look here, they were in the descending tracts. Actually, the main tract was corticospinal tract, right? Corticospinal, corticonuclear fibers, the pyramidal tract, and that was divided into lateral corticospinal and the anterior corticospinal tract. And the rest were, they were extra pyramidal tract. They were tectospinal, rubrospinal, olivospinal, vestibulospinal, then medial reticulospinal, lateral reticulospinal. So they were all extra pyramidal tracts. So those fibers were actually descending from higher centers down to the anterior horn of the spinal cord, and from there the lower motor neurons, they were emerging out through the ventral root of the spinal nerves. That was about the descending tracts. Remember, and related with the descending tracts, the clinical points, if you remember, there was poliomyelitis, Tapes dorsalis, right? There were some clinical points associated with the descending tracts, as well as the Tapes dorsalis with the ascending tracts. Anyways, though, with spinal cord se related कुछ clinical points हैं that I'll continue with this ascending tracts as well. We'll keep telling you the clinical applied portion. Now, ascending tracts का मतलब क्या है? Ascending tracts are those tracts which are carrying sensory information from the peripheral receptors as well as enteroceptors. So, various types of sensations, all type of peripheral sensations, they are carried to the dorsal root of the spinal cord. They may relay there or they may not relay there, but they ascend up to the medulla. Like, let me tell you, like, first look here, at least you should have some idea about the different ascending tracts before explaining them. So in this diagram, you're seeing are all the descending tracts. Sorry, the ascending tracts. Remember, descending tracts, when I was teaching, I told you that there was no descending tract into the dorsal funiculus. This posterior white funiculus in the spinal cord carries no descending tracts. It is filled up with the ascending tracts. And that at that point I told you that, remember that during the course of development, the motor fibers, the motor nuclei, the motor tracts, they are all medially located in the spinal cord, because that's how it develops in the basal lamina. The sensory tracts, the sensory nuclei, they are generally placed laterally because they develop in the alar lamina. So motor tracts were not seen in the dorsal or posterior funiculus. Now it's seeing this, the ascending tracts. You see in the ascending tracts, the tracts carrying proprioceptive sensations that includes touch, pressure, crude touch, pressure, vibration, and pain, temperature. So these sensations, proprioceptive sensations, are carried by this tract. This tract, you can say, is surrounding the anterior horn of the spinal cord, and it is related anterolaterally in the white column. Out of this, the lateral spinothalamic tract is in the lateral funiculus, while the anterior spinothalamic tract lies in the anterior funiculus, just anterior to the anterior horn of the spinal cord. But it's been studied that it is in continuity actually. The two tracts They're not actually separated, they are in continuity. The anterior spinothalamic and the lateral spinothalamic, they are in continuity. And among these different diagrams, you'll see that they have drawn cross. This cross means that these tracks decussate. While they ascend up or at the same level or at a higher level, they'll decussate. So they have drawn this cross. And this is basically, it might be the other tracks also, like these also decussate. But here we are talking about the first order neurons, right? So these are spinothalamic tracts. Then you have the other sensations, that is the conscious proprioceptive sensations. Conscious proprioceptive sensations जो होते हैं वो touch, deep pressure, vibration, 2 point discrimination, tactile localization, and stereognosis. All these sensations are ascending up through this dorsal column, the posterior funiculus. Those sensations from the lower limb and the up till the lower thoracic vertebrae, they extend. Lower thoracic segments, they'll extend to this, you know, this is called fasciculus chrysalis, and the lateral one is fasciculus cuneatus. This takes proprioceptive sensations from the upper thoracic cervical segments, so it carries you know, proprioceptive sensations from the upper limbs and upper part of the trunk. So these tracts are related to conscious proprioceptive sensations. These tracts are related to, you know, the exteroceptive sensations, and these tracts laterally in the lateral column to the margins of the lateral funiculus, these are spinocerebellar tracts. Now the spinocerebellar tracts are actually carrying unconscious or subconscious reflex proprioceptive sensations. Reflex proprioceptive sensations are those sensations which you are not aware of, but your CNS is taking care of, especially your cerebellum, like maintaining your tone while you're standing, while you're walking, while you're climbing up the stairs and all. So maintaining of the tone of the muscle, maintaining your posture, and adapting yourself in whatever posture you're sitting, lying, or standing, you balance yourself. That is all. That type of reflex proprioceptive sensations are carried through this spinocerebellar tract. Got it? So this also is in dorsal and ventral. This one is a dorsal spinocerebellar tract, and this one is a ventral spinocerebellar tract. Right? So we've got six, right? Six ascending tracts: spinothalamic in 2 parts, then dorsal column in 2 parts, spinocerebellar in 2 parts. Then there are two more. One is spinotectal and spinoolivary. Spinoolivary, the ascending tract is at the same point. If you remember the descending tracts, olivospinal tract was also placed here, right? So, and spinotectal is here, and at the same point, somewhat here in the medial side, it was tectospinal in the descending tracts. So spinotectal is for a movement of your head and eye movements in response to visual stimulus, and spinoolivary is also related to the proprioceptive sensations and your uh, reflex movements. So these two are another tracts located anteriorly in the lateral funiculus. So in total, you have now, if you study about the 8 ascending tracts. Now let me tell you, there are other, these tracts are actually the projection fibers going high up into the medulla, thalamus, and higher centers or the cerebellum. But the tracts which stay or which are localized only in the spinal cord, they do not move beyond the spinal cord. Such tracts are these intersegmental tracts. Intersegmental tracts, you can see this pink color outline to the gray matter. This is made up of internuncial neurons which connect upper 1 to 2 spinal segments adjacent upper or below. This communicate with the segments, one or two segments higher, one or two segments below. So this intersegmental tract, this is confined to the spinal cord. Got it? Okay. Then at this margin of this, the dorsal horn, posterior margin where this dorsal nerve root gets attached, there also you find some internuncial neurons which ascend up 3 or 4 segments higher, or they communicate with segments 3 or 4 segments below. And this tract is called posterolateral tract of Lissard. Okay. So now you'll get 8 plus 2 is 10 tracts you'll have to study in this portion. Now we'll study one by one. First, let me brief you how these tracks, collectively, I'll tell you. Like a sensation, I told you, categorize the sensation into different headings. One category is proprioceptive, one sensation is exteroceptive sensation, right? The other category is proprioceptive sensation in conscious state. Then the other third category is reflex proprioceptive sensations, which are in unconscious or subconscious, unconscious and subconscious state. So these are in three big categories. So here, it's a point of entry of the sensory fibers. And if you extend this dorsal root, you will find a dorsal root ganglion, I told you, in the intervertebral foramen, which lodges the first order sensory neurons of all types of, whatever sensations they carry, like proprioceptive, pressure, pain, temperature, or reflex, subconscious level, whatever type of sensations it is carrying, the peripheral neurons, the first order sensory neurons, they are located in the dorsal root ganglion. And that has two processes, a peripheral and a central process. So the peripheral processes of these first order sensory neurons, they are receiving stimulus impulses from the peripheral receptors. Then they have a central process. The central process of the first order neurons through the dorsal root enters into the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now, in case of spinothalamic tract, these first order sensory neurons, they will decussate at the same level and reach to the opposite side by passing through here the gray rami commissure, anterior gray commissure or anterior white commissure, and they reach the opposite side. Okay, so when they do so, the fibers carrying pain and temperature, you know they actually have, like, lamellar organization here about the different nuclei, sensory nuclei. So remember, the first lamina was containing the posteromarginal nucleus, second was containing substantia gelatinosa for pain sensory neurons, relay of the pain fibers. Then you had lamina 3 and 4, nucleus proprius for the exteroceptive sensations, pressure, touch, vibration, right? And then you have like lamina 5 and 6, that was for the relay of, or sorry, not for the relay, rather that was for the fibers which were proprioceptive fibers, thick. Then there was lamina 7. Lamina 7 was the relay station for the internuncial as well as the unconscious, sorry, subconscious proprioceptive fibers. That's called Clarke's column. Actually, Clarke's includes 5 and 6 as well as 7th also. So the fibers, when I'm talking is this exteroceptive sensations. These fibers, they cross at the same level and reach the opposite side, and that forms the spinothalamic tract. Out of that, pain and temperature carrying fibers reach the opposite side, and they form the lateral spinothalamic tract. The fibers carrying sensations of touch, pressure, vibration, they cross here to the white commissure anteriorly and reach the opposite side to form this anterior spinothalamic tract. And these fibers, they cross and reach the opposite side at one or two segments above. Remember, ये जो क्रॉसिंग हो रही है फाइबर्स की एक्स्ट्रोसेप्टिव सेंसेशंस की, उसमें lateral spinothalamic tract, the fibers will decussate immediately at the same level. But in case of fibers carrying pressure and touch and vibration, they will ascend up one to two segments and then reach to the opposite side. Okay, so that was about exteroceptive sensations. And because they've shown this cross, that means spinothalamic fibers, spinothalamic tract, the first order neurons, they decussate at the spinal level. That's why they have shown this cross. The other type of sensation is, you know um, tactile discrimination, जैसे कहते हैं 2 point discrimination, tactile localization, then deep touch, pressure, vibration, all sort of sensations are proprioceptive sensations, and these sensations are brought by these central processes of the first order neurons through lamina 3 and 4, rather sorry 3 and 4 तक तो ये आते हैं and pressure and touch वाले, they'll pass through lamina 4 and 5, that's the dorsal column, and from there they will wind posteriorly into the dorsal column, and they will ascend up, like they will ascend up to the medulla. So here you seeing they have not shown the cross. This means the first order neurons carrying the proprioceptive sensations, they do not cross at the same level. The first order neurons straight away reach to the middle of medulla, where you find the nucleus gracchalis, nucleus cuneatus. So the first order neurons in these proprioceptive sensations, they do not decussate. They're actually the second order neurons which will decussate in this dorsal column. Then the other sensations is subconscious reflex proprioceptive sensations. Now these fibers are actually coming from the Golgi tendon organ or the muscle spindle, right? Or nociceptive fibers, the fibers coming from the neuromuscular junctions, tendinomuscular junctions, and all. So these fibers will come here. They'll relay in the dorsal. They will relay in the dorsal column, that is Clarke's column. Then from there, they will actually, there are two types of tracts. One is ventral spinothalamic, and the other is spinocerebellar, and the other one is dorsal spinocerebellar. I'll tell you, the first order neurons actually move to the opposite side in case of this ventral spinothalamic spinocerebellar tract. Dorsal continues its course as a ipsilateral tract. Okay, so this is about, like, the three main sensations which are carrying. Then ये यहाँ पे रिले सेंसेशन दिखाया है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, लाइक हम ये सेंसेशंस गैदर कर लेते हैं कि what actually is lateral spinothalamic tract carrying. I told you it carries pain and temperature, and the first order pain sensation fibers, they relay here in the substantia gelatinosa, and temperature carrying fibers, they relay in lamina 3. So from lamina, you know, substantia gelatinosa and nucleus proprius, uh, these fibers, after being relayed, they'll move to the opposite side, contralateral. Take, and the fibers carrying pressure, touch, and vibration sensations from lamina 3 and 4. This one is ventral spinothalamic tract. They'll carry crude touch, pressure, tickle, itch. These sensations from lamina 3 and 4 crossing anteriorly to this central canal or to the white commissure anteriorly, they'll reach to the opposite side. Okay, so this crossing is happening at the same level. Although in the anterior spinothalamic, this decussation happens like up one or two segments above. And this tract, ventral, or you can say anterior and lateral lateral spinothalamic tract, they are not separated, they are in continuity, and they have a somatotopic lamination, right? So the fibers, they are arranged just that I told you, motor and sensory homunculus in the primary motor areas and primary sensory areas in the cerebral cortex. There's a representation of the body parts that's called somatotopic lamination. Similarly, there will be some somatotopic lamination here, that the fibers from the cervical region will be packed up more medially. Then later to that will be fibers of coming from the thoracic segments. Then later to that will be fibers coming from the lumbar segments, and lastly the sacral fibers will be placed more laterally. So that you find is a somatotopic lamination. And apart from that, not only this lamination, but you also have the sensations. The different types of sensations are also categorized. That the pain, that the pressure and touch sensory fibers, they'll reach here in the anterior spinothalamic tract, and fibers carrying temperature and pain, they reach here in the lateral spinothalamic tract. So this order you can remember, PTTP. ठीक है, पेन एंड टेम्परेचर, जब भी बात आए पेन एंड टेम्परेचर, रिमेंबर इट्स थ्रू द lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, and because in the same diagram I have to tell you some other features before moving to the next slide. Look here, as I told you, on outer surface, the spinal cord, normally we had this anterior longitudinal fissure anteriorly. There's a posterior median sulcus and a posterior median septum. And these were the posterior lateral sulcus onto which the dorsal roots were attached. These were the anterolateral sulcus onto which the ventral roots were attached. Then in addition, you find here is this posterior intermediate sulcus and a septum. But this you will find in upper thoracic and cervical segments only, because as I told you that from the lower segments, it was only fasciculus gracchalis. From the lower thoracic, lumbar and sacral segments, in those segments you'll find only fasciculus gracchalis. But in upper thoracic and cervical segments, you will find both the fasciculus cuneatus laterally and fasciculus gracchalis medially. Okay. Have you understood about a brief idea about these ascending tracts? Now we'll be studying about spinothalamic tracts. Spinothalamic tracts, as the name suggests, they carry sensations from the spinal cord right up to the thalamus. So that's why they are ascending tracts. They categorized as spinothalamic tracts, and they relay the sensations which are being carried from the peripheral exteroreceptors. And you know the receptors, These are Mesenus corpuscle, Pacinial corpuscle, Ruffini's organ, then Krauss organ, prenerve endings, Merkel disc, and these are various exteroceptive receptors. Through these receptors, the first order neurons, they carry sensations, they reach to the dorsal root ganglion, then the central processes, and the central processes of these neurons or of these carrying sensations, they'll relay in first, second, third, and fourth lamina. Out of that, the pain sensation carrying fibers will relay in the second lamina, that is nucleus of substantia gelatinosa. This tract is categorized into anterior and lateral tracts, anterior spinothalamic and lateral spinothalamic tracts. Now look here, this tract, the spinothalamic pathway we are studying, spinothalamic tracts, both anterior and lateral. As I told you, the first order neurons from the limbs, basically from the limbs, the peripheral receptors from the limbs, as well as the trunk, carrying sensations of pain, temperature. These sensations, remember, pain and temperature. Okay, the fibers carrying sensations of pain and temperature, they will, the central process of these first order neurons, they will enter into the dorsal horn and will relay here in lamina 2 the pain carrying sensations in substantia gelatinosa, or in case of temperature related sensations, they will relay in the lamina 3 nucleus properties. So these fibers, the second order neurons, the first order neurons, they have already relayed, right? They have already relayed in the dorsal column, sorry, in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Then the second order neurons will move anterior to the central canal and pass through the anterior white commission, and then will reach to the lateral funiculus on the lateral side of the opposite side of the same segment. So that means they cross immediately. The important point about the lateral spinothalamic tract is that the second order neurons from substantia gelatinosa, they decussate at the very same spinal segment. That means they cross immediately. You have to learn this because once there was an MCQ regarding the decussation of the neurons in the spinal segments, which tract decussates at the same spinal segment. So remember, it is lateral spinothalamic tract where the second order neurons decussate at the very same segment that they cross immediately, and they reach to the opposite side in the lateral funiculus, and from there they ascend up. Now these are the second order neurons of the lateral spinothalamic tract. So they'll ascend up from the spinal cord, passing through the medulla, then passing through the pons, and this, when it ascends up through the pons, medulla, or the brain stem, this tract is called spinal lemniscus. Actually, this is a broader term. Okay, spinal lemniscus is a broader term. So the lateral spinothalamic tract passes through the brain stem through the lateral lemniscus. Out in this lateral, in the spinal lemniscus, through the spinal lemniscus. In the spinal lemniscus, you will find that the lateral spinothalamic tract ascends in the brain stem through spinal lemniscus, and then they reach the through the cerebral peduncles. They will reach into the thalamus. Got it? So they relay in the thalamus. These are the second order neurons in spinal lemniscus. Or you can say that lateral spinothalamic tract is formed by the second order neurons, and they'll relay in the thalamus, and after being relayed in the thalamus, the third order neurons will ascend up further to the somatosensory cortex. Okay, that is post central gyrus, area number 3, 1 and 2. Okay. Kirti Singh, you're saying the slides are not visible. Is it so? The rest of you others, tell me. Is the slide visible? Okay. So that was about the lateral spinothalamic. Now look here about the other proprioceptive sensations that include coarse touch pressure. Now, actually, these names will come again, like when we're talking about the dorsal column. Here we're going to study is about the anterior spinothalamic tract. Now, the sensations of coarse touch pressure, coarse touch and pressure में और deep touch and pressure में क्या difference रहता है? Actually, coarse touch is like जैसे कहते हैं ना, rubbing shoulders with the public when you are traveling in a train or in a bus. So just like rubbing shoulders with some, with others, or like um, I think like you place your hand on the wall, or you're holding a glass, or you're holding a teaspoon, like a coarse touch. When you're placing your hand on the arms of the chair, that sensation is a coarse touch and coarse pressure. ठीक है, बहुत fixed नहीं है. Like when you sit on the chair, the sensation of touch or pressure is a coarse touch. ठीक है. So coarse touch and pressure sensations, they will be carried through the uh, uh, peripheral receptors that includes like Merkel's disc, Meissner's corpuscles, right? Meissner's corpuscles, remember, for touch, and tactile उसके लिए क्या नाम है, Merkel disc. Then you have Ruffini's भी होते हैं, and Pacinian corpuscles in the superficial fascia below the dermis. Those receptors will carry these coarse touch and pressure sensations, and their central processes of these neurons will relay in lamina 3 and 4, and that is called nucleus proprius, right? Now, the second order fibers carrying these sensations of coarse touch and pressure, they will ascend up to one to two segments higher up, and then will reach to the opposite side in the anterior funiculus. Got it now? So the anterior spinothalamic tract cross via anterior white commissure and will reach in the opposite side one to two segments higher up. That means these fibers of anterior spinothalamic tract are not decussating at the same level. They cross one to two segments higher up and then reach the opposite side in the anterior funiculus. And from there, then they ascend up. Then they ascend up the second order neurons and they will cross through medulla, pons, and midbrain, right? And now they're traveling through the brain stem, and they're passing through the medial lemniscus. Now medial lemniscus is a broader group. Out of there are different other fibers also running. So you can say that anterior spinal thalamic tract is made up of second order neurons which pass through the brain stem through medial lemniscus. Okay? And they also reach the thalamus. The second order neurons will they relay, then the third order neurons from thalamus they will ascend up higher to the cerebral cortex, somatosensory cortex, that is postcentral gyrus, area number 3, 1 and 2. Got it? So in three successive generation of neurons, your sensations reach to the higher centers. Okay. So now one thing related a clinical applied portion is, because these both of these tracts, lateral and anterior spinothalamic tracts, they decussate in the spinal cord, that is very clear, and it is the second order neurons that decussates, not the first order neurons, and they decussate anterior to the central canal of the spinal cord, right? So there is a condition where there is dilatation of the central canal, and that's called syringomyelia. So when there is dilatation of the central canal, that will exert pressure centrifugally in all the sides surrounding to the central canal. The fibers running in periphery to the central canal, they will be compressed. ठीक है. So in syringomyelia, both these commissure, right, commissure passing, this one for the pain and temperature related fibers for the lateral spinothalamic tract, they actually passing through the gray and then pass through the white commissure, as well as the fibers for crude touch and pressure. They will also pass through the anterior white commissure. So where there will be dilatation of the central canal, these anterior fibers, second order neurons passing through the white anterior commissure, they will be compressed, right? So there will be loss of pain and temperature at that spinal segment, right? जैसे कि obviously एक ही segments में अगर ये हो रहा है, if this syringomyelia is extending to further higher up or lower up segments, so all of those segments which are uh, because of syringomyelia, those segments which are under pressure and the commissures which have been compressed because of that dilatation of the central canal, in those segments you will find there is loss of pain and temperature because the sensations, they are not being ascending up. Clear? Okay. Then somatotopic lamination of spinal cord. As I told you, these sensations, the peripheral sensation, exteroceptive sensations, when, as I told you, one thing that the anterior spinothalamic and lateral spinothalamic, one thing is that they are in continuity. You can see they are in continuity. One thing. The other thing is that the pattern of fibers collecting up to form a bundle, they collect like this, that the fibers from the higher segments, they are more medial, and the fibers collecting up to form this bundle, like the lateral and spine, the bundle of spinothalamic tract, the fibers coming from the lower segments, they will be placed laterally, and the fibers coming from higher segments, they will be placed more medially. So remember that in the spinothalamic tract, the cervical fibers will be facing more medially, and the sacral fibers will be facing more laterally. That is the somatotopic lamination. And the same thing is happening here also in the, remember, regarding the descending tracts. This was the major descending tract. The highway of the descending tracts is lateral corticospinal tract. This descends down just lateral to the dorsal horn. So there you find somatotopic lamination. This pattern will be seen here also. Okay, in the lateral corticospinal tract. Okay, I'll tell you further. In the dorsal column, there is also somatotopic lamination. In them, the fibers ascending up from the lower segments will be placed more medial, and the fibers ascending from the upper segments, they will be placed laterally. So in the dorsal column, the arrangement of fibers is, you can say कि cephalic end is lateral, caudal end is medial. Representation of the body parts is such that the head end is lateral and the caudal end is medial. In this spinothalamic, the head end is medial and the foot end or the caudal end is lateral. Okay, and regarding types of sensations, remember anterior spinothalamic tract will be carrying pressure, crude pressure and touch, and lateral spinothalamic will be carrying temperature and pressure, mainly temperature and pain, mainly pain. And this pattern is PTTP. Remember this. Pain, तो बिल्कुल exclusively याद रखना, it is through the lateral spinothalamic tract. ठीक, तो पीक यू कैन डिफरेंशिएट, जब पेन जो है वो लेटरल वाले स्पाइनल थालमिक में तो प्रेशर इधर रहेगा, एंड देन अमंग द टी यू नो टेम्परेचर इज बीइंग कैरिड थ्रू द लेटरल स्पाइनल थालमिक ट्रैक्ट, एंड द अदर वन इज टच that is being carried through the anterior spinal thalamic tract. So and ये जो spinal thalamic tract है, summary ये है कि that it is a collection of second order neurons carrying proprioceptive fibers from the opposite dorsal horn of the spinal cord, and they ascend up, out of which the lateral spinothalamic ascends to the spinal lemniscus in the brainstem, and the anterior spinothalamic ascends up to the medial lemniscus, and they reach the thalamus. From there, the third of the neurons carry the sensations to the cerebral sensory cortex. Okay, so it's done. Next tract you are going to study is dorsal column tracts. Dorsal column, you know, the white matter of the spinal cord between the posterior median septum and the posterior horn of the spinal cord. That collection of white matter in spinal cord, if you collect from both the sides, like bilaterally, that forms the area of the white matter between both the posterior horns of the spinal cord, and that area is called the dorsal column, right? So the tracts which ascend into the dorsal column are carrying, you know, proprioceptive sensations, and they ascend up through in the form of these two tracts: fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus. Fasciculus gracilis ascends from the segments from the lower thoracic, lumbar, complete lumbar, and complete sacral and coccygeal segments. So that is placed medially. Got it? And fasciculus cuneatus, they carry sensations, all these proprioceptive sensations from the upper limbs, upper thorax. So this tract you will find fasciculus cuneatus is placed laterally in the dorsal column, and this tract you will find only in the upper thoracic and cervical segments. So now you'll see here that this is dorsal column tracts that includes fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. Now listen, we are going to study about the dorsal column. This, I told you, is carrying sensations from the first order neurons from the limbs, maybe upper limb or lower limb. Upper limb आएगी बात, then it is cuneatus. From the lower limb it is gracilis. G for gravity, याद रखना, G for gravity, तो G for gracilis means lower limbs. So proprioceptive sensations कौन से इसमें चलेंगे? Remember अभी हम पढ़ चुके हैं pressure, crude touch and pressure, that was being carried through the anterior spinothalamic tract. Now the sensations being carried here are proprioceptive sensations that include sense of position and kinesthesia. ठीक, तो पोजीशन ऑफ सेंस का मतलब ये हो जाता है कि इफ यू आस्क यू नो सब्जेक्ट लाइंग डाउन एंड कैच होल्ड ऑफ, if you stand on the foot end of the bed and catch hold of his greater toe and ask him like in which position is this, वो कहेगा normal है, right? Then you flex his greater toe and ask him कि अब किस position में है, वो बताएगा कि नीचे की तरफ, you know, it's bent or it is flexed. Then you extend his greater toe and ask him the position. Just a test, how to test about these, you know, tracts. So sense of position and sense of movement of his joints, that is kinesthesia. ठीक है? So this type of sensation, you know, Golgi tendon organ से sensations आ रही हैं. So these type of sensations will be there. It will be carried. Then exteroceptive sensations, which includes deep touch and deep pressure. Deep touch and deep pressure. So deep touch and deep pressure अक्सर विसरा का भी होता है. There is splenomegaly, the sensation feel होगा deep touch का. ये ट्यूमर है, उसका sensation feel होगा. or even your body parts. You have like, you don't have a much space to sit somewhere, and you have like you're sitting on a small something, that initially when you sit you feel that, that deep sensation of deep pressure and deep touch. And this you get acclimatized slowly that these are slowly adapting receptors. ठीक. So deep touch, deep pressure sensations आएंगे, sense of position, kinesthesia, movement of the joints उसको पता होगा, that type of sensation. Then tactile localization is, if you like, pinch somewhere on the body part and ask him, actually when you are testing for these tracks or for these sensations, you basically ask the subject to close his eyes, because visual अगर overlap हो गया ना response, फिर तो अगर if he's seeing what you are, where you are pinching or where you are touching, so while checking these sensations, you ask the subject to close the eyes, and then you pinch on certain part or you touch with a pen on certain part of the body and ask him कि कहाँ पे touch किया गया. If he can localize that point, that means we are checking that his tactile localization is intact. The another is tactile discrimination. Tactile discrimination is 2 point discrimination. You are touching at two different points, and he is able to, at the same time you're touching 2 points, and he is able to discriminate that एक जगह यहाँ पे छुआ, एक जगह यहाँ पे. But it's not like कि हम उसके knee joint और ankle joint पे touch करें और उससे पूछें, या हम अपना elbow पे और knee joint पे touch करें और उससे पूछें कि कहाँ पे touch किया. Actually 2 point discrimination or tactile discrimination is like he is able to separately tell the two very closely point, place 2 points. Geometry box में एक divider होता था school days में, remember, which had 2 pins. ये ले जाते हैं अपने इंस्ट्रूमेंट बॉक्स में जो क्लिनिकल पोस्टिंग्स में. तो द डिवाइडर विच हैड 2 पिन्स, रिमेंबर, ये हम लोग, एक प्रोटेक्टर होता था, डिवाइड कॉम्पस होता था, सब कुछ ज्योमेट्री बॉक्स में. सो विद दैट डिवाइडर विथ 2 पिन्स, उसको हम स्प्रेड करके उससे टच करेंगे, यानी कि उसके एक ही द 2 पॉइंट्स प्लेस्ड और टच्ड वेरी क्लोजली, सो ही इज एबल टू, ऐसा ना लगे कि हमने 2 पॉइंट्स टच करे, उसको लगे एक ही जगह टच किया. So actually we are checking the sensitivity of his receptors, that is he be able to discriminate the two very closely placed 2 points. ये बता सकता है कि हमने डिवाइडर से टच किया 2 पॉइंट्स पे, तो बताएगा एक जगह या दो जगह. So that is like tactile discrimination. Is he able to discriminate the touch which is at 2 points but very closely applied. ठीक, that is tactile discrimination. Stereognosis इसका मतलब he is able to sense the three-dimensional shape of a object held in hand. और इसके लिए भी again it's a must कि we ask the subject to close his eyes. तो close his eyes, उसके बाद हम उसके हाथ में कोई object दें, like कोई भी shape का, and he will be able to tell you what it is. अब normally person the objects which is common use वो तो बता देगा, जैसे उसके आंख बंद करके उसके हाथ हाथ में एक चाय का कप दे दो तो वो बता सकता है यहाँ सब ये कप है, या एक पेन पकड़ा दो तो उसको शेप से, बिकॉज दीज आर ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ कॉमन यूज. और अदर वे ऑफ सेंसिंग स्टेरियोग्नोसिस इज कि उसकी पॉकेट में, ट्राउजर्स में उसके कुछ कॉइन्स डाल दो, 5 रुपी कॉइन, 1 रुपी कॉइन, राइट, 10 रुपी कॉइन, and ask he, अपने pocket में वो हाथ, he places his hand in this pocket, and without like, uh, with his hand in the pocket, he should bring out only rupee 5 coin, so that you are occluding his visual sensations, because he's placing his hand in his pocket, and in his pocket there are 3 coins, rupee 1 coin, rupee 5 coin, and rupee 10 coin, and you ask him कि जेब में से 5 का सिक्का निकालो, got it, if to bring rupee 5 coin from his pocket, so that he will feel the sensations within his pocket. You are occluding the visual sensation. So there you are checking for the sense of stereognosis, like sensing and telling the shape, three-dimensional shape of a object. समझ में आया ये? तो वाइब्रेशन सेंसेशन, तुम लोग ट्यूनिंग फॉग वाले टेस्ट भी करते हो, ये वाइब्रेशन सेंसेशन भी चेक कर सकते हैं ट्यूनिंग फॉग के थ्रू. So all these sensations are categorized as proprioceptive sensations as well as deep exteroceptive sensations. Now look here. These are carried through the first order neurons and through the central processes which are located actually these neurons are located in the dorsal root ganglion. You can see sensory ganglion में होता है. And the central processes now enter the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Right, and through lamina 5 and 6, that was dorsal column. ठीक है, through lamina 5 and 6 as well as क्योंकि touch and pressure भी है तो lamina 3 and 4 also will be there. So these fibers, remember, important thing about this dorsal column tracts is that the first order neurons do not decussate in the spinal cord. Rather first हो या second हो, second तो होता ही नहीं इसमें, because the central process of the first order neurons from the posterior horn of the spinal cord, they move medially to the posterior column or the posterior funiculus. Now, in case of lower thoracic, lumbar and sacral segments, which are carrying sensations, such sensations from the lower limb, they move more medially. ठीक है, medial to the posterior intermediate septum, and then they ascend up to the medulla. That means the first order neurons, without being relayed in the spinal cord, they have ascended up to the medulla. यानी कि इसमें कोई decussation नहीं होगा first order neurons. ठीक, they'll not even relay in the spinal cord. First order neurons reaching up to the medulla. So इस case में you can imagine the how much long will be the length of neurons. I think the largest neurons in the body will be in this column, like sensation of touch from the little toe, that is S1, or sensation from the greater toe, that L4, L5. So L4, L5, S1, these are the dermatomes of the toes. Imagine sensations from these receptors present in the toes, यानी कि Golgi tendon organ, like a peripheral receptors. The sensations being carried from the greater to lesser toes, these are being carried, imagine the entire length of foot, the length of leg, the length of thigh, through the gluteal region, then through the cauda equina, and then they will reach up to the vertebral level, T12 or L1, where you find conus medullaris. That is the region of sacral segments. So and that also is the region of cyton of these neurons. But the central processes will now ascend up in the spinal cord, in the dorsal column, and will reach up to the medulla. You can imagine. So little toe up till medulla, a single neuron. Got it? So these are the largest neurons. यानी कि जो fasciculus gracilis, that carries the largest तो नहीं, longest neurons. देखो largest and longest में फिर difference आ जाता है. Largest, it's pyramidal cells of Betz, and cerebellum में it was Purkinje cells. That was largest. Longest की बात करें तो longest में हो जाएगा first order sensory neurons from the lesser toe reaching up to the medulla. ठीक, अब medulla में क्या होगा? They will, because they haven't crossed, right? They are running ipsilateral on the same side. The wind will reach the medulla, mid of medulla. Let me tell you, it's from at the level of mid of medulla. ठीक, because lower section of medulla में क्या हो रहा था? एक decussation हो रहा था. If you remember, corticospinal tract का decussation होता है in the lower medulla. So in the middle medulla, you will find decussation of the second order neurons. अब ये सेकंड और फिर ऊपर वाले ट्रैक जो अपर एक्चुअली हम भी brainstem will be study brainstem. There will be three sections of the medulla: upper medulla, middle medulla, lower medulla. In the lower medulla, you will find pyramidal decussation, corticospinal tract. Then in the middle medulla, you will find internal arcuate fibers. These are decussation of the second order neurons of the posterior column. Then in the upper medulla, you will find olives, like inferior olivary nucleus. Okay, so olives मिलते हैं at the upper medulla. Now look here, हम बात कर रहे हैं about these first order neurons. They reached up, and as these tracts, gracchalis, fasciculus gracchalis, which will ascend up. Now when it reach in the upper thoracic and cervical segment, it will packed up laterally by fasciculus cuneatus. Now the fibers, such sensations of touch, pressure, position, tactile discrimination, stereognosis, and all carried from the upper limbs and upper thorax and cervical region, that will be packed up lateral to the fasciculus gracchalis in the form of fasciculus cuneatus. That is the bundle of first order neurons lateral to the posterior intermediate septum in the dorsal column, and that bundle is called fasciculus cuneatus. So both of them, these are the central process of the first order neurons, and they will reach up into the mid of medulla, where you find these two: nucleus gracchalis, nucleus cuneatus, and that will be the relay center of the first order neurons. So first order neurons carrying proprioceptive sensations will relay here, sense of position, touch, discrimination, stereognosis, temperature, vibration. ये सब चीज जो आपको alert रखता है, remember, ये सब आपको sensations make you alert all the time. ये sensations कहाँ relay होंगे? In the alert के साथ साथ make you help you balance, balance equilibrium के लिए भी, और walking, running, हर तरह से. Dorsal column की significance I'll tell you when I talk about the clinical aspects. From these nucleus gracchalis and cuneatus, these second order neurons will now decussate and move to the opposite side. So the second order neurons will, when they'll move to the opposite side anterior to the central canal, mid of medulla, or even like a little lower, because you're finding is you don't find the fourth ventricle here, you're seeing in the central canal. So that means it is the below the middle of medulla. So these second order neurons, they're crossing anterior to the central canal and they form the internal arcuate fibers. Remember, ये बहुत पूछा जाता है. There is also an external arcuate fiber which we'll discuss later on. So this is actually forming the internal arcuate fibers. Then from opposite side, they will ascend up. Remember, again, you getting this term, medial lemniscus. So these fibers will ascend through medial lemniscus, and what else was passing through medial lemniscus was anterior spinothalamic tract. Remember, so proprioceptive sensations and exteroceptive sensations of touch and pressure, they will ascend through medial lemniscus and passing through the pons and midbrain, and they will relay in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of thalamus. Ventral posterior lateral nucleus of thalamus. These are the second order neurons, the neurons of the internal arcuate fibers. They relay in the ventral posterior lateral nucleus of thalamus. And then the third order neurons will carry these sensations to the somatosensory cortex, again to the postcentral gyrus, area number 3, 1 and 2. Clear? I hope this is clear to everybody. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, the other names of these tracts, that also is important. Look here. There are other names, tract of Godak and tract of Gall. They might ask you sometime with these names. So you have to be aware of this. And I can help you to remember these names because let me tell you, this red color tract they have shown is fasciculus gracilis from the medial portion of the dorsal column. And this fasciculus gracilis is also called tract of Gall. ठीक, तो इसको पहले मैंने याद कराया था G for gravity. Gravity means something below. That means from the lower thoracic, lumbar, and sacral segments, the sensations carried from the lower limbs, right? तो lower limbs की बात आ रही है, तो G आ जाएगा gravity, G for gravity, G for gracilis, G for Gall. Got it? The tract of Gall, G for gracilis, G for Gall. So you can remember the tract of Gall is another name for fasciculus gracilis. Okay, and you know ye fasciculus cuneatus which they have drawn in a blue color tract, right? So fasciculus cuneatus which are carrying sensations, all these proprioceptive deep touch pressure sensations from the upper limbs, they are placed laterally in the dorsal column and they ascend up again, ascend up in both of them, they ascend to the medial lemniscus. But the another name for fasciculus cuneatus is tract of Pudak. So how to remember this? I mean, among these two, if you have to select, to remember Budak, B for brachium. And brachium means upper limbs, especially the arms. So B for brachium, B for Budak. So if you have to select among these, yaad rahega, gracilis, G for gracilis, G for Gall, B for brachium, B for Budak. So Budak is another name for fasciculus cuneatus. Okay. Somatotopic lamination. In this also, I just told you that the fibers coming from lower sacral segments, they will be placed medially, then from lumbar segments, lateral to that in the tract of Gall, and in the tract of Budak, the fibers coming from upper thoracic segments will be placed medially, from the cervical segments will be placed laterally in the tract of Budak. That is fasciculus cuneatus. Got it? So in short, in the dorsal column, the somatotopic representation is that the cephalic or the upper segments of the spinal cord they placed laterally and the lower segment spinal cord they placed medially. Okay? And once again, in the corticospinal and in the spinothalamic tract, the somatotopic representation is that the cephalic end faces medially and the caudal end faces laterally. Okay, so it's done. Okay, this topic, dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tracts. Okay. Dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tract. First of all, the important thing is this tract is carrying reflex proprioceptive sensations that make you, you know, carry out your regular activities without being conscious of this working behind in supporting you. So this is actually, subconscious state mein your, it is maintaining your muscle tone, it is making your equilibrium, right? It maintains your posture. You're not aware, like you're walking and climbing up the stairs, or you're standing and walking, even think that that is maintaining your all the joints, the sensations for the joints, they're making the tone of the muscles and making you stand erect. So you're not aware, you're subconsciously it is working behind. So this is really very important to make you alert and make you whatever activities you do keep doing in regular life. You keep these, the function of these spinocerebellar goes unnoticed, but it is really important in maintaining posture and equilibrium. Now look here, dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tract, that was about, this tract is carrying reflex proprioceptive sensations in a subconscious state. Another thing important about this tract is that it carries only two neurons. It is formed by two neurons, first order and second order, right? There is no third order neurons, only the first and the second order neuron. And the tract is named as spinocerebellar, right? So these sensations will be relayed directly into the cerebellum without reaching the cerebral cortex. So that's why you need only two generation of neurons, first order and second order neurons. Although in this tract, in this category, we'll also study about cuneo-cerebellar tract, I'll tell you. Okay. So the spinocerebellar tract is actually divided into two categories, a dorsal and a ventral spinocerebellar tract. Okay. So firstly, we'll study about the dorsal spinocerebellar tract. Okay. The one thing in this tract, you have seen that entire column, entire tract, you find there is no decussation. This entire tract is ipsilateral. It doesn't cross it. These are some few important points. ये सब MCQs बन जाते हैं. So this entire tract runs ipsilaterally. Got it? So now look here about the dorsal spinocerebellar tract. The sensations what it receives, the first order neurons from the limbs, which carry, which receives uh, stimulus from unconscious muscle and joint sensations. Unconscious की जगह the better word is subconscious. Subconscious sensations from muscle and joint senses. And these sensations, the receptors are Golgi tendon organ, muscle, spindle, as well as exteroceptive sensations of touch. ठीक है. So, and these sensations, I mean, if you're talking about dorsal spinocerebellar tract, these are carrying sensations from individual muscles of lower limb, because I'll tell you there will be different, you have to differentiate among the dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tracts. So this dorsal spinocerebellar tract, actually the sensations carried by both ventral and dorsal is same, but the difference is, one thing is like it is running completely in its course, it's ipsilateral is one important thing. Other thing is that it carries sensations from individual muscle fibers of the lower limbs. This is another important point about the dorsal spinocerebellar tract. And this tract begins at L3 segment. Now look here, these fibers carrying these sensations from these receptors will, with the central processes, will relay here in the posterior horn of the spinal cord in the lamina 5 and 6, and that is Clarke's column. Okay. So in this Clarke's column, lamina 5 and 6, they will relay, and the second order neurons will now emerge and move laterally on the same side, and to the margin of the lateral funiculus, they will ascend upon the same side, will pass through the medulla. And let me tell you that cerebellum is attached to the brain stem with the help of three peduncles. You have superior cerebellar peduncle, middle cerebral peduncle, and an inferior cerebellar peduncle. So this dorsal spinocerebellar tract will ascend up through the brain stem because the inferior cerebellar peduncle attaches cerebellum to the medulla. So this will not ascend further up in the brain stem. You will not find dorsal spinocerebellar tract in a transverse section of pons or midbrain. So because reaching medulla through the inferior cerebellar peduncle, they will reach the cerebellar cortex. Simple. Now, how to remember that this enters through the inferior cerebellar peduncle is very easy. D for dorsal, D for down. Down means niche, means below. So which cerebellar peduncle is down? It is inferior cerebellar peduncle. So remember that the dorsal spinocerebellar tract enters through the inferior cerebellar peduncle into the cerebellar cortex. Okay. Now cuneo-cerebellar. Actually, cuneo-cerebellar I've included here because it carries the similar sensations. Look here, in the medulla, where I told you in the mid of medulla, where there was nucleus gracchalis, nucleus cuneatus, laterally, and then even lateral to that, you find is an accessory cuneate nucleus, right? So accessory cuneate nucleus is located at the same level as nucleus gracchalis and nucleus cuneatus. Now, this will carry unconscious proprioceptive fibers. That's why I have included in this spinal cerebellar tract category of that same tract. So they carry unconscious proprioceptive fibers from upper limb. Remember, from upper limb. After relay here in accessory cuneate nucleus, they reach the ipsilateral cerebellum through inferior cerebellar peduncle. Got it? So this tract, cuneo-cerebellar, is actually serving the same purpose as the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, but it's only restricted for the upper limbs. Unconscious proprioceptive sensations from upper limb. This it receives impulses. Then in the accessory cuneate nucleus, which is present in the medulla at the same level as nucleus gracchalis cuneatus, just lateral to this nucleus cuneatus, you find accessory cuneate nucleus. From there, these fibers will ascend up along with the dorsal spinocerebellar tract and will enter into the ipsilateral cerebellum through the inferior cerebellar peduncle. That was about cuneo-cerebellar tract. Now the ventral spinocerebellar tract. Look here, ventral cerebellar tract. This is carrying, first of all, the sensations are the same, which is carries is reflex proprioceptive sensations from the Golgi tendon organ, from muscle spindle, and the deep exproceptive sensations. But the difference is here is that from the entire lower limb, it is carrying these sensations, unconscious or subconscious sensations from the muscle and joint senses. Okay. Again from the lower limb. In short, both ventral and dorsal spinocerebellar tract are maintaining your tone and joint stability while you're standing or walking through the lower limb. I mean sensation from the lower limb, either it is वो बताया था L3 से start हो रहा है and individual muscles of the lower limb से impulses आ रहे थे dorsal spinocerebellar tract में. Here the sensations are being carried through the entire lower limb. ठीक? And this will be present in the lumbar and sacral segments as well. ठीक? वो L3 से start हो रहा था dorsal spinocerebellar, and this ventral spinocerebellar you'll find in both uh, you know lumbar and sacral segments. And another difference, you keep mentally you keep differentiating. You have just studied about the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, because when a question comes you will have to write about the spinocerebellar tract. So you'll have to differentiate both between dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tracts. One thing I have told you initially about the sensations of course are the same from the lower limb, but that was through the individual muscle fibers, and this one is from the entire lower limb. One thing. Then that was having an entire ipsilateral course, the dorsal spinocerebellar tract. This will be having uh, the ultimate. Look here, the very important thing is the ultimate destination is ipsilateral. That means the fibers will ultimately reach the cerebellar hemisphere of the same side, but it will doubly cross because it has to reach the same cerebellar hemisphere of the same side. So it will decussate two times, one at the level of spinal cord at the same level, and then again it will cross at the level of upper pons or midbrain. Okay. So double decussation, remember this is also important MCQ regarding it. Is a special feature of ventral spinocerebellar tract. Double decussation, the reason is the fibers have to ultimately reach the same side of the cerebellum. Okay, so these sensations will now relay here in lamina 5 and 6, that's Clarke's column. From there, these fibers will cross through the anterior to the central canal, and at the same level, it will reach to the opposite side in the lateral funiculus at the margin anterior to the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, and then it will ascend up as second order neurons and will cross the medulla, will cross the pons at the level of upper pons or medulla, upper pons or midbrain, because uh, through the midbrain, it's actually the cerebellum is attached through superior cerebellar peduncle, or you can see the upper pons. So, because at upper pons also you can see there is superior cerebellar peduncle. Okay. So, these fibers, the second order neurons, they will wind around the superior cerebellar peduncle of the opposite side. They will wind around this. And after winding out, they will move to the same side, the ipsilateral side, from the side the sensations were being brought up, and then will enter the cerebellar hemisphere of the same side through its superior cerebellar peduncle. Okay. So, as I said, if you take a cross section of pons, you will find ventral spinocerebellar tract, but you will not find dorsal spinocerebellar tract because it has already reached the cerebellum through the inferior cerebellar peduncle attached to the medulla. Okay, so important points about ventral spinocerebellar tract, that it carries subconscious proprioceptive sensations from the entire lower limbs. It's present in all lumbar and sacral segments. Another thing, then they have a double cross, because they doubly cross. One at the second order neurons actually doubly cross. First they cross at the similar spinal segment, they reach the opposite side, then they ascend through the brain stem, then at the upper pons or midbrain, then they wind around the superior cerebellar peduncle of the opposite side and will reach to the superior side. Through the superior cerebellar peduncle of the same side, they will enter the spine, cerebellar hemisphere of the same side. So these are the special points, and actually, these cells, they are large cells, the second order neurons of the ventral spinocerebellar tract. They are large cells. Okay. Then I hope you have a sense of differentiation among the two tracks. Make sure you learn them. This was about the spinocerebellar tract which we have done. Now we are talking about the other ascending tracts, which includes spinotectal tract, spino-olivary tract, and intersegmental tracts, which also includes tract of Lisson. Okay. Okay. So whenever the nomenclature is such, when you use spinal word initially, that means they're ascending. If you use the word spinal tract as a suffix, that means it's a descending tract. Simple. Corticospinal, rubrospinal, tectospinal means they are descending tracts. अगर हम spino word initially use कर रहे हैं as prefix, that means they are ascending tracts. So spinotectal means the fibers from spinal cord will reach the tectum of the midbrain, and you heard this name tectospinal while I was teaching the descending tracts. So both, tectospinal and spinotectal, actually, tectospinal you were find you the descending tract tectospinal, which was found here somewhere, anterior to this medial end of anterior horn, and spinotectal, which is an ascending tract. This you find anterolaterally, right? At the same point you find is spino-olivary, like spino-olivary and spinotectal are next to each other, okay, anterolaterally in the white column. So the spinotectal tract we're going to study is that an ascending tract of the fibers in each lateral funiculus. This also is seen lateral funiculus of white matter of the spinal cord, and it passes upwards and terminates to the superior colliculus of opposite side. So that's why, make a cross here. So remember that spinotectal has decussating fibers. The fibers ultimately reach the superior colliculus of the opposite side of the upper portion of the midbrain. Similarly, if you remember tectospinal was also a crossed tract, because tectospinal was forming the dorsal tegmental decussation at the upper midbrain at the same level. So this also will cross and will reach the opposite superior colliculus. So, tectum, superior colliculus, all this is related with the visual pathway, right? So this tract is responsible for making reflex movement of the head and eyes in the direction of stimulus, right? So that is spinotectal tract. You immediately turn your head as well as your eyes in the direction of the stimulus, and that is through spinotectal and tectospinal tract. Okay. Then spino-olivary, that also is lateral to the spinotectal tract in the anterolateral funiculus, or actually late anterior in the lateral funiculus. And at the same point, let me tell you where you find the spino-olivary. At the same point in a descending tract, olivospinal tract will also be found here. Okay. And this is an ipsilateral tract. It doesn't cross, right? Even the olivospinal tract is an ipsilateral tract. Similarly, spino-olivary tract is also an ipsilateral tract. So the spino-olivary tract, also called Helvig's tract, is located in the anterior funiculus. Actually, this you can say is anterolateral is a better word, I think, of the spinal cord, and provides transmission of unconscious proprioception and involved in balance. So this you can remember that this is in continuity with the spinocerebellar tract. And spinocerebellar tract, this is a dorsal spinocerebellar tract which is completely ipsilateral, so they haven't shown cross here. This one is a ventral spinocerebellar tract which is doubly crossed. That means they cross, the fibers actually cross in the spinal cord, because the cross here means if the fibers are crossing in the spinal cord. That's why they have not shown cross here, because in the dorsal column it's the second order neurons that they cross in the medulla and form the internal arcuate fibers. So they're not shown a cross means these fibers are not crossing in the spinal cord. But the ventral spinocerebellar tract, the fibers cross to the opposite side at the same level. Now, because it's in continuity with the spinocerebellar tract, so you can remember the function of spino-olivary is same. Reflex proprioceptive sensations, reflex proprioceptive sensations or proprioceptive sensations in a subconscious or unconscious state. Okay? It provides transmission of unconscious proprioception and is involved in balance. Somewhat the same function as spinocerebellar tract. And remember, one I told you was cuniocerebellar tract, and cuniocerebellar was same. Cuniocerebellar was doing the same purpose as dorsal spinocerebellar, right? But from the upper limbs. Because spinocerebellar, both of them are for the lower limbs. Okay. Then this tract carries proprioception information from muscle, tendons, as well as cutaneous impulses to the olivary bodies. They ultimately, the fibers will reach there in the olivary. And where is olivary? I told you in the upper portion of the medulla. The olivary body is known as the olives are located in the medulla oblongata in the brainstem. Let me tell you once again, revise this. Like medulla, you take three sections: upper level, middle level, lower level. Upper level of medulla, what you find is inferior olivary nucleus, and that's why they show a bulging, right, anterolaterally, and that bulging is called olives. So upper section of medulla, you'll find inferior olivary nucleus. In the middle of the medulla, you will find internal arcuate fibers that from the fasciculus, nucleus gracile, nucleus cuneatus, that is the sensory decussation. And then in the lower medulla, you will find pyramidal decussation, that is decussation of the corticospinal tract. Okay? And that's why you have a bulging in the ventromedial also, because of the pyramidal decussation in the lower medulla. Okay, so this is spino-olivary tract. Okay. Other tracts that carry proprioceptive impulses, which I've already discussed, is dorsal spinocerebellar tract, ventral spinocerebellar tract, and cuneo-cerebellar tract. So remember the category which includes, subconscious proprioceptive impulses. We have four tracts. Spinocerebellar from lower limbs, cuneo-cerebellar from upper limb, and this spino-olivary is basically mainly from the neck region. Okay. Okay, so this is, and another thing is, ultimate destination of all the four tracks is ipsilateral cerebral hemisphere. Out of the four tracks, spino-olivary, dorsal ventral, spinocerebellar, cuneo-cerebellar, all the fibers reach the cerebellar hemisphere of the same side. Only thing is that in ventral spinocerebellar tract, there is double crossing, but ultimately that also reaches the cerebellum of the same side. Okay. Then intersegmental tract. Intersegmental tract, as I shown you here in the diagram, in the cross section of the spinal cord, just at the peripheral margin of the gray matter, you see this is a tract formed by the internuncial neurons. These neurons are located within the spinal cord, and this tract also is localized within the spinal cord. These neurons in them, they are actually connecting upper 1 to 2 spinal segment, upper to lower 1 to 2 spinal segments. ठीक है, adjacent segments को communicate करते हैं, associate करते हैं. So intersegmental fibers traveling for several segments, 2 to 4, you can say 2 to 4 segments, are located as a thin layer around the gray matter, is known as fasciculus proprius. The another name for intersegmental tract, remember, is called fasciculus proprius. Another name is spinospinal. As you know, the nomenclature was prefix suffix. So from where it starts is prefix, from where it ends to where it ends is the suffix. So because it ascends in spinal cord and terminates in spinal cord, the another name for intersegmental tract is spinospinal tract, spinospinal or archaeospinothalamic tract. Okay, these include the lateral corticospinal tract and rubrospinal tracts located in the lateral column funiculus. So these are associated with the lateral corticospinal tract and rubrospinal tract. In rubrospinal, remember, यहाँ पे here in this position you will find is lateral corticospinal, and uh, anterolateral to that, covering from there's the tract rubrospinal, right, along with the lateral corticospinal. So this intersegmental is also associated with these descending tracts. So one thing is clear about intersegmental tracts, you only need to remember the other names. One is spinospinal, is so easy to remember, or fasciculus proprius, or archaeospinothalamic tract. Okay, and they are communicating between 3 to 4 segments higher and below. Now this is tract of Lisor. Tract of Lisor. Tract of Lisor may, they have shown 2 segments actually overlapping, like a segment higher above or a segment below to it. So the first order sensory neurons, which they reach the, this is posterior marginal nucleus, or you can see the nucleus, the periphery of the margin of the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, and from where the dorsal root is attached to the spinal cord. So there it when it reaches there in the gray matter, it soon ascends up or it soon descends down into 3 to 4 segments below or 3 to 4 segments above, and will relay that. That means it is associating the different spinal segments above and below, but at the margin of the dorsal horn, or you can say at the point where the dorsal root enters the spinal cord. Simple. That's Lissor. So Lissor tract is a pathway formed from the proximal end of a small and one other important is unmyelinated. Remember, it is an unmyelinated भी gray matter के अंदर ही चल रहा है ना. So unmyelinated and poorly unmyelinated fibers in peripheral nerves, which in these are actually these Lissor is formed by the each spinal nerve, any spinal nerve also have some unmyelinated fibers. So those unmyelinated fibers or poorly myelinated fibers, when they enter the dorsal horn, they soon ascend up or descend down to connect with the spinal segments above and below. So which enter and at the lateral aspect of the dorsal horn and ascend and descend up to 4 segment. It might be 2 segment, 3 segment, or 4 segment, up to 4 segment above or below. They can communicate with the neurons of the segments above and below, and terminate where they terminate in rexid lamina 1 to 6, and principally 1 to 5. वही है एक्चुअली प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव सेंसेशंस के लिए क्या, एक्सट्रोसेप्टिव सेंसेशंस के लिए क्या आता है, लमाइना 1 2 3 4. That includes posterior marginal nucleus, substantia gelatinosa, then nucleus proprius, and lamina 5 and 6 was dorsal column or Clarke's column. So they'll relay on the same, they'll relay in these nucleus of segments higher and below, and are ipsilateral dorsal, and these fibers are also ipsilateral. They connect segments on the same side. Okay, so that was about tract of Lissor. It is also it is actually the broader category is intersegmental tract. It is categorized in the same category of intersegmental tracts. Okay, just revision, or you can say just a look here. So these were all the ascending tracts. If I talk about exteroceptive sensations, remember exteroceptive sensations की जब भी बात आएगी pain, temperature की, think about lateral spinothalamic tract. If there is if there's a talk about crude touch pressure, right? So we'll think about anterior spinothalamic tract. If you're talking about stereognosis, 2-point discrimination, and tactile localization, and deep pressure and pressure vibration sensations, then we are talking about the dorsal column. Then if we're talking about maintenance of posture, maintenance of muscle tone, like equilibrium, then we are talking about our reflex, subconscious or unconscious reflex activities in balancing and maintaining tone. We are talking about the spinocerebellar tracts. Done. And spinocerebellar may we categorize 4 tracts. Spinocerebellar is from the lower limbs. And cuniocerebellar is for the upper limbs, and spino-olivary is mainly from the neck region. And tactospinal for visual movement of head and eyes. Spinotactile is for the movement of eyeball, and the neck for the visual stimulus. And these are intersegmental tracts. इसके different name है, fasciculus proprius, propiospinal, spinospinal, or arcuspinothalamic tract. And this here at the margin of the dorsal horn, with this dorsal root enters, this also is made up of unmyelinated fibers communicating up to 4 segments above and below, and this tract is called tract of Lissor. Okay, just to have a comparative analysis, these are the descending tracts and these are the ascending tracts. So when you overlap, you'll find that olivospinal tract is at the same point where you find is spino-olivary tract. And one other thing is that they have mentioned cross. You also have to remember what are the tracts which decussate in the spinal cord, and what are the tracts which do not decussate, right? So in the descending tracts, let me tell you that corticospinal, everybody knows that it's a it is a contralateral. It reaches to the contralateral spinal segments. It 75 to 80% decussate in the lower medulla and 15% in the spinal segment of the corresponding level, at the corresponding level. And the other tracts which decussate in, I mean, if you talk about extrapyramidal tracts, in extrapyramidal tracts, out of the 6 tracts, the 2 tracts, I'll tell you, it will be easy for you to remember that which tract crosses and which do not cross in the extrapyramidal category. So remember the 2 tracts which arise, which descend down from the midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. Remember, there were 2 tracts arising from the upper portion of the midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. So there was a red nucleus, remember. So, and red nucleus and superior colliculus. So the 2 tracts descending, red nucleus to spinal cord is rubrospinal. That will decussate at the same level and will form the ventral tegmental decussation. And the other tract from the upper portion of the midbrain, that was tectospinal, right, from the superior colliculus, and that also decussates at the same level and forms the dorsal tegmental decussation. So among these extrapyramidal tracts, these are the 2 tracts which decussate. The rest of the other tracts, let's say the rest of the other tracts will include, let's you know, olivospinal, right, will not decussate, will run ipsilaterally. Then you have medial and lateral reticulospinal tract will also descend ipsilaterally, and vestibulospinal, right, for balancing. Vestibulospinal also runs ipsilaterally. So this way it will become easy to remember that in the extrapyramidal tracts, out of the 6 tracts, only the 2 tracts arising from the upper portion of the midbrain decussate. Sometimes they might ask you, as I told you, that sometimes this lateral reticulospinal tract that has both crossed and uncrossed fibers. Okay, and this has been covered about the ascending tracts also. You know, actually, ascending tracts also cross. Some of them cross at the spinal level, and some cross this one, the dorsal column, that crosses at the medulla and forms the internal arcuate fibers. Okay, the time is enough. I don't think we should do the MCQs. I'm leaving